What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Buck Junkies Podcast. We are turkey season is it's almost over for us.
We're supposed to change our names from Buck Junkies to Turkey Junkies.
Hey, I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know. As ate up as you getting with it, might have to.
The only thing I've been ate up with her lately is daggum gnats and mosquitoes.
Oh, they tore me up, man.
Luckily,
I still got whips.
They ate you up. Was it Saturday morning?
Saturday.
I don't ever remember them stupid gnats. A kid like we got now. Man, the other day we was fishing, dude. Them out there. I'm talking about getting on your sunglasses. That's
why I don't like bow hunting. I ain't gonna lie. I traded my bow. I went the last time I bow hunted, I got ate up by mosquitoes. I got in poison ivy, and I had that on me till January that year. And I traded my bow for a muzzleloader, and I never looked back.
I can't.
I young have it. Getting in there with all that poison ivy and poison oak. And
it's pretty tough.
Mosquitoes
even
and ticks.
if you use a thermocell, if I hear that mosquito just buzz, if I hear it buzzing around me, man, I'm swatting. I can't just sit there.
Wait till you get them in your head net.
Pretty much the only skin I had exposed, they ate on me. Like I ain't never whelped up like that. Man, I looked like I had some kind of scabies or something.
No, them no-see-ums or
it didn't matter at the time we was hearing that turkey.
No. I didn't feel them then.
Yeah.
I had Jamie calls them no-see-ums. When me and Randy was kids, Daddy was aggravating us when we was fishing. We kept swatting them old black gnats.
Yeah.
He said, "You know what them are, don't you?"
I got
a different name for it.
Coon dog laying out there in the sun, them things all around the end of their.
That's what I always lipstick gnats.
He said, "You must smell like a dog pecker."
You smell.
That's what he told us.
I wasn't going to X-rated version on it. It's called no-see-ums.
Yeah. Is that what a no-see-um is?
Yeah.
Oh,
You feel them bite you before you, a little bitty.
Oh, them chuckers eating us up the other day, and I raised my mask up. I just kind of grabbed it at the top and like pulled it a little bit, and they just
got a swarm in the mask with you.
Mask.
Yeah.
I can tell you the worst I've ever been is like Darren and Hardin Point. Their turkey season because Arkansas just opened up this week, but I was over there when I was over there doing caretaking. The water got up, and man, this is how bad mosquitoes was. I would pull the tractor. Of course, you had a boat in. I'd pull the tractor down to the edge of the water the day before and park it. Of course, you had a boat in, boat out. I would stop out in probably 300 yards out, get everything ready in the boat, and I would run it wide open, cut it off, run it up on the bank, and before you could go 50 yards getting the tractor, you would literally eat. I'm talking about you could see the mosquitoes on you. So many. You would. I mean, from out in the lake, 300, 400 yards away, you could hear the mosquitoes. It was so many of them over there.
I'd full panic.
Oh yeah, I couldn't. No way. I
deal with
couldn't.
it.
Yeah.
I could not hunt in that. There's no way.
Ain't no way. It ain't worth it.
I mean,
how those guys? How's Darren them over there turkey hunting there? They just get eat alive.
Run 2 thermocells.
Yeah, I ain't buying that. Thermocells ain't never worked for me.
The problem.
I give off too much CO2. they coming to me.
I think the problem with thermocell is they do work, but like turkey hunting and you're moving around, they don't have time to set that zone up or whatever it is. I guess it does.
Yeah.
But
I've used them before, like dove hunting before, get out there early in the morning and mosquitoes is on you and stuff. And it was funny because there was 2 of us sitting there and I stuck the thermocell under my seat in between our seats. And they wouldn't bite us on the inside, but they was biting us on the outside. I guess it was outside that range or whatever.
I mean, I think they do work, but like I say, on the moving around, I just don't think you get time to get it set up. I'd have to have me like a pistol holster.
Something.
2 on each side.
I'm gonna need them on my neck.
Yeah. Surround.
Boots, ankles.
So what?
DEET. That's the only thing that stops them from me. Little green can, a Repel. Get it at Walmart, 90% if you can get it, whatever you can get. I'm sure it ain't good for you.
Death of DEET spray and stuff like that.
Man,
I do use it, but that stuff might have killed me one time. So
heck, I'm allergic.
Did you have a reaction to it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't go on turkey hunting. I put my foot up. They come out with that new stuff, keep all the ticks and chiggers off.
Yeah.
This is years ago. And it was one of the first ones they came out with. And other than that, we just had off or something, just regular orange can off and stuff. But anyway, I put my foot up on the bumper of the truck and was spraying my legs down. I was bent over, and I guess I inhaled some of it and did both legs, sprayed it all over my hat and everything, and I took off walking. Yeah, I had a pretty bad reaction to that stuff.
I've seen some stuff that folks have been talking about on social media. Was it permethrin or something like that? You spray your clothes down. Well, you got to saturate them with it. You let them dry, and it's supposed to be good for like a month. Like you can get 4 weeks out of it.
See, Daddy,
You do your shirts, your boots, pants, gloves, face mask, everything.
Daddy just ordered him some pants and a shirt that's already, it's like infused or something.
Treated,
Yeah, he said it was already treated with bug spray. And they said, you know, I guess it's kind of the same thing. Once you wash them or after so many times, you probably have to respray them.
It's probably something similar to that. I wonder why they don't sell them like that. They got all the UV protection and scent lock and all that stuff. Why not?
I'd buy
Bug protection.
allergic I am to that crap. I'd buy whatever if it keep bugs off.
The other morning, they got on me so bad. Jody was set up on a tree about 10 yards behind me. And I leaned down. I was like, throw me, you're off. Like, throw it up here. Man, I sprayed me, the tree, the leaves. I sprayed everything around me. I didn't care.
Did it help?
It did for a minute. Till we had to get up and chase the turkey some more. And then we was in another spot. But
We've had some good chases
Counters. We've had a bunch
this
of
past
good
week.
encounters.
Yeah.
this past weekend is the most I've ever heard turkey gobble. Period. By a long shot.
When we was on Saturday morning was fired up, Jack.
And the one Sunday morning was more, if not more than that.
Really?
I mean, I've never seen all that.
Our week started out. What day was that? Was it Friday morning? Me, you, and Jamie went out there, and
That was a heck of a good morning.
that was a real good morning, man. We had a bird. Jamie had him too. I think that was my fault.
No, I mean, that's how my luck goes. I've been with Darren. I've been with my dad several times, and every time I've had a turkey, something hung up. Turkey hung up, wouldn't, and it was just right outside that distance or something between me and him. I just couldn't get the shot off. It's just me.
That morning, like this dude was gobbling, and we got in on him, and he had to have been within 100 yards of us already. He was just up over a ridge, didn't want to come up where we were. Jamie got on one pine tree, and I sat over by him, had a camera set up, and then Mikey went on pretty good ways from us. I mean, he was probably 30, 40 yards from us calling, and that every time we hit something, that jerker would gobble. I'm talking about he was lit up, and it sounded like he was running circles along the ridge.
Yeah, I think he had been
circled us
walking
a
down that
couple of
road,
times.
going back left and right.
Just going left and right because he would gobble one time, and Jamie would point up, he's over there, and then it wasn't 10 minutes later, he was 100 yards the other way, and I knew it wasn't two different birds. Well, finally, I guess you eased up back closer to us.
Yeah.
And this went on for 45 minutes.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, nearly an hour. We just knowing this bird's coming. Like you've been sitting on shoot, and we're just looking and looking and looking, and finally Mikey eased up there. And didn't you say, I see him?
I could see just the whitish, grayish tip of his head. It was a blown over treetop out of a pine tree, and I could just see it bounce, up beside it. And
he was steady gobbling.
Yeah.
Steady gobbling.
He was probably, I'd say, between 30, 32 yards, something like that for me at the time.
But behind some thick stuff.
Yeah. I mean, all I could see was just the tip of his head. I didn't see I never seen his beard or anything. I could see the tip of his head.
Well, then Mikey, you saw him, and you had him dead to right.
He was standing 25 yards from me, right out in the sun.
Blowed up.
No,
he was
looking.
alert.
Yeah.
He was
straight.
looking.
Well, but Mikey said he sees him right there, and Jamie said, I got to see him. So I had to, so I messed up, moved a little, and that's probably what scared him.
Oh, I didn't know all that. Now,
I was behind you, but that's what Mikey said, because he didn't fly off or bug out.
No, he seen something he didn't like and went out that hill pretty quick.
But
he never putted though.
Yeah.
So I figured he just got up there and they were expecting to see a hen and
Didn't see her.
He didn't see her. Because, I mean, on the pines, it was kind of like looking down a road and a lane. And I could see each side of it, but he was, I guess, one row further over, which lined up with Mikey. But if I'd have been a row over, he'd have been a row over. Oh, we'd been eating turkey.
Man.
But I mean, I couldn't. I mean, well, it was pretty cool just sitting there listening to it and seeing. I mean, I got just as much out of it, I think, if I would have pulled the trigger.
Well, and I don't know if it wasn't the same bird that was gobbling at us again, because we went on through there, eased up on the north line, and then walked down. I don't know. It probably wouldn't. Probably wasn't 200-300 yards.
Yeah, it was close.
And that dude, we heard it again. I don't even think he called. I think we just heard him.
He just gobbled.
And so we eased down in those pines and sat down again, and then he gobbled 2 or 3 times again, and that was it. Shut down.
Yeah, he was on a mission. He was out. He done either he had hens with him or he done seen something. I think while he wouldn't pay no attention to us the second time.
And meanwhile, Mark, you were over on the other property.
Man, I was over here.
What happened on that deal?
I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Pretty straightforward. I told y'all when we left the truck, I said, I don't know what's finna happen. I said, we finna go out here and see. I said, first time I ever hunted by myself, and I ain't been turkey hunting in probably 15 years, probably. It's been a while. And I rode the bike back there, got up on a hill and where I could hear pretty good. And it was still good and dark. It was a 4.6. And hooted one time, and as soon as I'd done it, he hit. Boom. I was like, well, all right, well.
This is easy.
Was he still on roost, you think?
He was still
already
on
on the
roost.
ground?
Yeah. No, he was on roost. And he was a good ways off, so I went on up to the next hill and out again, and sure enough, as soon as I did, he hit again, and I kind of located him then. He was probably within 150 yards of me then. I pushed the bike over in the bushes, hit it, and when I stepped back out in the road, I heard a hen. She wasn't 30, 40 yards from me, and she was already on the ground. That's one thing that threw me off, because, I mean, it was still dark. But so I eased around and got set up on a edge of a food plot and let it come daylight, and he was still smacking. I mean, every 2 or 3 minutes he was gobbling, and I didn't say nothing and kind of just waited till he got on the ground. And I'm just observing at this point, because I'll be the first to tell you, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And yelped at him a couple times. He responded, but he was on the other side of the big pond, and he was just walking that ridge back and forth. And I listened to him for at least an hour and a half probably. And I don't know if he got with that hen or what, but he kind of moseyed on. I mean, I never laid eyes on him, but the hen come up there in the food plot with me for about 5 minutes, and she cut up for a minute, and then she went back to where he was, but kind of got an idea of what's going on. And then me and you went back the next morning and got right back on him, and we chased that bird.
We had Michael with us that morning, and we eased down from it wasn't far from the house.
No.
We struck out and we walked back to about where you thought you heard him. We'd been in good earshot the day before, and we kind of spread out. Well, I heard something as soon as we jumped out and hooted. I heard one way off. I was like, man, that bird sounded like he was a long way off.
Yeah.
But so we eased on down, and then we ended up walking back because it sounded like he was a little closer.
Now, he got close.
I think he was on the roost at first. It was still dark. And so when he hit the ground, he went north. But we followed him. So we went up and set up a little bit. We had some decoys that morning. We threw them out. And then you eased down. I was kind of on the back side of the pond levee, me and Michael, and you were on down from us doing some calling, which you wouldn't have to call much because they were just lit up. But they kept going from us. So you had the idea, let's chase him.
Let's go.
So we went in behind him, and then we went across that ditch down there at Mudhole. Mark pulled me up it.
Oh, you had it 4 drive. You was good.
That's when you know I'm into turkey hunting. If I'm willing to get down in the big ditch and climb back out of it, there ain't too many deer I'd do that for. But that turkey over there gobbling at us, I was like, if we can just get over that ditch, I think we can kill him. So we eased over there and sat down, and man, it was beautiful. We was in this bottom, and there's a big ridge in front of us, and we didn't go. That's where we messed up. We should have pushed a little further, either around that ridge or up to the other side. We couldn't go straight up it because that's where the bird was. But we sat down in that bottom, and we hadn't been sitting there 15, 20 minutes. Here comes 6, 7 deer come through. They skirted the bottom of that ridge, and they must have smelt us. They didn't really spook. They just eased on through.
They knew we were there.
But they knew we were there, and we were sitting there, and you were still calling, but it wasn't like just hammering at them.
No.
Because you wasn't having to. That bird, I mean, there was a hawk, there was a daggum donkey, there was cows out in the pasture. He was wanting to be the boss out of all of them. And we could never figure out what he was doing. But he was, because it did the same thing that other one did. It'd sound like it was 100 yards one way, and then he'd be back 100 yards the opposite way, but just staying out from us long enough not to see him. But he must have just been right over the crest of the hill.
We finally, after about an hour of that, he finally crested the hill.
Well, we moved one more time closer.
We got closer to him.
Yeah.
And once we got up there to the bottom of that ridge, we were kind of pinned down because we couldn't get any closer. And where he was at, he had the vantage point to see us. And that's all he done is when he finally broke over that ridge where he could see that bottom, he didn't see that hen. And he stayed up there,
Well, a hen came out on the ridge, and I saw her, and then you saw the turkey blowed up. And then I saw him, but he was standing up there, and there was a daggum deer with him. And that's because I saw the tail flicking. I was like, what is that? And I was like, and the deer, and then something broke the deer. It ran out. And the turkey was still up there hammering it, but finally he just shut up. Like, I don't know if he got over there, and I don't think he saw us or ever really knew we were there.
He just knew that hen wasn't there.
Yeah, and he got with a hen, so they were still with hens. I mean,
I don't think they're henned up as much now. Just again, I'm the dummy of the group. I don't know. I'm just going off what we learned this weekend. And, you know, we got within probably 70 yards of that bird. I mean, he was sounded good. I mean, he was.
Michael had never been that close to one cutting up like that. And
Michael can't sit still and he's sleepy.
Yeah.
You put that turkey out in front of him, he sure can't sit still.
I was watching him the whole time. I was like, man, if that turkey does come over there, we're busted. It's gonna have to be a dumb bird. He needs a blind or something up in front of him or something.
But it was a good morning. It put on a good show. We didn't get to just lay eyes on him and watch him do everything, but I caught some glimpses of him, and I mean, I learned a lot. And, you know, it was kind of one of them things. And then me and you run back to the other side of the property just to check the food plots and just to see what was going on. We yelped a couple of times, and one south of us, he struck out. He was a good ways. I mean, it wasn't nothing we could get on. We'd have to be very illegal to get on him, but we knew he was there. And we had our fishing tournament after all that. That was a heck of a morning.
That was all Saturday. Yeah, we did come back and do our little Brim-a-thon.
Saturday was a long day.
It didn't go. It didn't. The Brim-a-thon didn't go well.
Turkeys all morning that morning too.
Yeah. So how'd y'all's morning go?
It was slow because, you know, usually we hear 4 or 5 birds down there where we went, and we heard one. That was it. You know, it was way off the property, not even close to us. So we just went back up there kind of as close as we could get to him. I just told him, I said, well, we're going to go up here where we can hear him and get up on top of the ridge and try to call him to our side of the property if we can. And just, I mean, that was the only thing that answered us. And anyways, we set up there and I started calling. Well, a turkey went to gobbling across the street on somebody else's place. So we got up and we moved up there. We sat about 100 yards from the road watching cars go down the road. And I was calling to the turkey on the other property just so he'd have something to hear and, you know, make the hunt interesting or whatever. I mean, he ain't been turkey hunting a whole bunch. So
have you ever called the turkeys across the road?
Have I?
Yeah, and killed it.
I'm sure at some point.
Not on purpose, of course.
Probably not no highway or nothing, but no gravel road or, you know, unusual.
Property line, posted sign.
Yeah. But anyways, we were sitting there, me and him were calling this bird across the street, and it was 2 of them over there. One was back off to our left, and there's a field that comes right up to the edge of our gate right there, and he was just circling that field. He'd get far away, he'd come back. He'd get far away, he'd come back. Well, I don't know if he just didn't want to cross the road. He had other birds with him or what. We never could get eyes on him anyways, you know, but he never crossed the road, and there was one down the hill gobbling at us. Well, while I'm messing with them 2 birds, man, one thundered like right behind us. And there was a lot of gullies and stuff like that behind us. I was like, there ain't no way. I was like, let's get up and go. Let's go to him real quick. Get on the other side of these gullies and get up here where we got a chance to at least see him or whatever. And we got up there. We were sitting at our landing in the gravel. Will's feet were sticking out in the gravel road up there where we park at. Mm-hmm. And that bird was straight down that trail. And boy, I hit it and he gobbled, boom, hit it again. I said, Will, get ready. Here he comes. But anyways, after about 45 minutes of sitting right there and never hearing him again, after I called him the first time he answered, I never called back to him. I guess and he just never came. So I couldn't figure out why he didn't come. Well, what had happened was, I guess he already had hens with him. And, so I got up and I slipped down the edge of the road and peeked around kept the woods between me and the road and peeked around the edge of the thing. And I could see 2 strutters going down the road.
Just in the road.
Just in the middle of the trail. And I could see one hen moving back and forth. You know, she was just pecking out in front of them and she was leading them the other way. So I guess when I yelped at him and he answered, she's like, nope.
He ain't going that way.
Going this way. So they went on off. But
did Will get to see that bird?
Yeah, he got to see him because I told him, I was like, just stay behind me and just peek your head around, like leave your face mask on, just peek your head around me right here and look down that road, and he could see him. You know, he got kind of fired up at that time. You know,
how far were they? 100 yards or?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, we did another ride up on. We was on the blacktop coming back to camp, and there's 4 big gobblers blowed up out there on the blacktop road. I don't know what they were doing.
I don't know. They
hitchhiking or something.
There.
Yeah. I mean, that's the second time we've rode up on a group of gobblers blowed up on a side by side.
And I mean, really, it didn't. Until we got close, it never
didn't phase them. Yeah, it didn't phase them. They when they got out of there, they didn't really fly off or anything. They just kind of trotted off behind each other. But
Saturday night, we was going to go try to roost that bird. And, well, I still don't know what I'm doing.
How do you roost one? Just go out there and listen?
I guess. I ain't quite.
Were y'all hooting at? Was Jody hooting? Or?
So Jody come down, part of the fishing tournament, and hang out, Saturday. Of course, he's ate up with turkey hunting. And we were talking about all the gobbles we heard. And, of course, you tell he was perking up. He was listening. And he's like, I got to talking to him, and I was like, well, heck, just come back down here in the morning. Me and you go try to get on this bird. I said, we'll go try to roost him this afternoon. So we went out there, and we rode the bikes out there trying to be quiet right at dark. And as soon as we stopped, you heard him. He hit, And I've kind of got an idea where he was at, but wasn't 100%. But he never would, never said nothing else. And we kind of rode around a couple other places and just listened and never heard anything else. Well, next morning, we go out there, and the world starts to wake up, birds start chirping, and, sure enough, one of them long distance gobbles way off property. And, well, as soon as that one gobbled, the one we were trying to roost the night before, he lit up. And that's when I started realizing that I don't know, they were gobbling at gobbles. They wasn't paying a bit of attention to a hen, nothing else. I think they were trying to, pair up again. I don't know. That's my theory. But anyways, we got back on that bird Sunday morning, and at about 70 yards, we had him for an hour strutting, spitting, drumming. I've never heard that in the woods, and it ain't nothing like it. That's a gobble's cool. That drumming's way cooler.
So you watched him for 45 minutes?
45 minutes at about.
No, and he couldn't get a shot?
No, it was cross hall in the woods.
Oh.
I mean, you just caught glimpses of him in the edge of the food plot. And Jody kind of got the call to him. He responded, and I don't know, it was probably about after an hour. He gobbled, and he was probably 40 yards from us at the bottom of the ridge, but he was on Jody's side. I told Jody that morning, he got out of the truck with no gun. I said, what are you doing? And I said, where's your gun? It's in the truck. You may get it. And I was like, yeah. It's like, we ain't going to.
Who's better than one?
Yeah. I was like, we ain't going to take pictures,
Yeah.
If he comes up on your side, shoot him. Well, lo and behold, here he comes up the ridge on Jody's side, 20 yards, head up. And I heard Jody say, shoot him. And I was like, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him. Because I don't want to be loud. He got by us. But we chased that bird for another 2 hours. And we got to noticing every time that bird that was way off the property he gobbled all morning. Every time he'd gobble, this bird gobble. And finally, I guess that bird got closer to us enough. He gobbled one last time about 9:30. Well, no, it wasn't that late. It's probably about 9. And when he did, that one we was on spun around, threw the brakes on, gobbled 3 or 4 times, and he was trucking. I'm talking about covering some ground. But
headed to that other bird?
Headed to the other bird. We couldn't lure him in. We done everything I knew to do, but we
So Mikey, what's your tactics on that, man? If you get them just locked up, or they studying other gobblers and ain't messing with ain't coming to your calls.
I mean, if you're trying to call him, like Mark was saying, a lot of times when they're gobbling, they know that they're all competing for breeding right. So if he ain't hearing what he wants to hear, seeing what he wants to see, a lot of times they will go to one another and either trying to fight or
take his lady friend or something.
Take his lady friend or something like that, because they want to breed. So he knows if he's gobbling, something's making him gobble. And, they'll kind of meet back up or find, they'll come to one another. It's good if something like that's happening, if you can get in between them.
One of them,
you got a chance of getting one of them to come to you.
So you're just trying to catch them. You ain't necessarily calling to them. You're just trying to catch them traveling to each other.
Yeah, you just get out there and purr and cluck a little bit and let them know you're there, and they'll come looking.
Is that what y'all did? Try to get in between them?
Tried, but it was at that point. It was probably 8:30, 9 o'clock, and when I say this bird's covering the ground, he would gobble, and then within a minute he'd gobble again, and he was 100 yards. He was gaining covering ground. We probably could have outran him, but it was one of them things. We were kind of at a point to where he was out of our range, and Jody had to leave at about 9:30 to go to Missouri for a turkey hunt. I was like, man, we ain't spooked him. We ain't busted him out. Let's just step out and we'll get him another day. It's one of the things you got to make that judgment call, which I can't complain. First weekend with me actually taking turkey hunting somewhat serious, and I have not been skunked yet. I ain't pulled the trigger, but we've heard a bunch of them and seen some good shows. So
that gets me fired up just hearing them and seeing them.
I'll tell you, I guess I ain't mad at him yet. That's what it is. Because when we were sitting there, me and Jody, he was about 5 or 6 yards to my right. And when that first gobbler started drumming, I looked over and, I mean, he had to darn near hold his knee. I mean, he was just shaking. I was laughing. You know, we
You
got
had the fever.
Yeah, I laughed at him. I said, man, you was shook, wasn't you? He said, yeah, you wasn't. I said, no. I said, I was pretty calm. I said, I wasn't ramped up just yet, you know, because I knew he was on the other side of the ridge, and it's still a lot can happen in 80 yards with the turkey. I mean, he don't have to come see us, you know. But when he gobbled at the bottom of that ridge and he was 30 or 40 yards from us, yeah, then I got my heart was pumping in. But it's definitely fun. I can see where it can be addicted for sure.
Did you get shaking?
I was fine. Now, when I seen that head be bopping over there, it did get my heart kind of beating a little faster.
That's when it gets kicked in. Mine got to shake it for you. I didn't even have my gun up. I had a camera. I was like, man, I couldn't take it.
He was wanting to shoot.
Yeah.
It's funny watching y'all sitting behind you.
I bet it is. You probably get a kick out of it.
Jamie seen that turkey.
Yeah.
Because Jamie kind of had that old lazy shotgun going where the barrel was kind of down.
Yeah. Wasn't on.
Just looking and watching when that thing perked up fun, and he sit up on that tree. I was like, I know. And Jamie said, I've seen it.
From where I was sitting, that's all I could see. Like Jamie went on point, and when he went on point, I was like, he's for the shoot.
Yeah,
and I was getting because I was looking. I was trying to cut my neck to see if I could see what he's looking at. When he froze and was locked down, I was like, oh, it's on. Because I mean, when that bird's hitting like that, and you know he is close, because I mean, it would make your hair stand up when he was hitting. That's one thing that's hard for me is I can't tell now how far they are from you with all these leaves and everything on it.
So yeah,
I mean, it sounds like, I mean,
that you got to be careful about that, because when you hunting early season and no leaves on the trees, stuff like that, you know, you can hear a turkey gobble.
Oh, properties.
Several hundred yards.
Yeah.
You know, if you're up high up on a ridge, or like we got over here, you know, where you can hear across a lot of cow pastures and stuff, you know, that bird could be quarter mile, half a mile maybe. You know, you just faintly hear him gobble. Now, with all these leaves on the trees and everything's, you know, got leaves on it, if you hear one gobble and it's pretty loud, that bird ain't far.
See, that's what, soon as I knew I had made a mistake, not make a mistake, but I was not right about what I thought. When that bird gobbled Sunday morning, me and Jody, I knew it was close, but I had no idea it was that close.
Yeah.
And then Jody's like, no, he's like right there. Like he's on that ridge. He's less than 80 yards. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, we got to set up now right here. Like we can't go any further. We can't make a sound. Like we got to get in here and sit down quick. And then once we sit down and when he come off roost, there was no trouble to tell at that point. And that was pretty neat too, is to be able to realize, you know, that bird's still on the limb and hear him up there. And then when he gobbles right here in the very next gobble, he's 75 yards to the right, and you could tell he's on the ground. And he just soared across that food plot and set it down right there, you know. And I definitely, that was something that needed to be done. I needed to go with somebody that had some experience to kind of see their reaction to the, you know, to the moments and to what was going on and how they called to him. And that's something that I hadn't been turkey hunting with anybody. It was my dad. And that's, like I said, that's been 15, 20 years ago. And I don't remember what all we done. I just remember I was walking my butt off and we didn't see crap, you know? Yeah. But it was definitely, I think the morning before I was way closer to that bird than I realized. And I think it's easy to screw up.
Yeah. If you're not used to hunting in those scenarios where you experienced that before, you will blow turkeys out. I mean, I've done it a bunch of times, trying to be too aggressive and think that bird ain't 200 yards and walk right up under him. You know, he's still roosted in the tree, and I done walked under him and blow him out of the tree, you know, trying to get closer to him, or, you know, something like that. You know, it just, you gotta, like I said, when the leaves get on the trees, whatever you think he is, he's about half of that. So if you think he's 200 yards, he's probably more like 100 yards.
And that ain't far when we're talking to turkey.
If you can hear that thumping in his chest when he's gobbling, he is very, very close.
Oh, I could hear his wingtips dragging the freaking leaves. Like he was there. And that's something that, you know, I'd never heard a bird spit and drum in the wild. You know, I mean, I've, you know, seen videos and it doesn't do it justice, because you watch it on video. It's like, man, you can't hear that. It ain't that loud. Shoot. It's oddly quiet, but oddly loud. I mean, you got to think, he was probably 70, 80 yards. And I mean, I don't know what you call that noise.
Yeah, what is that noise they're making? I mean, what
makes the drum?
Yeah, what is it?
It's in their chest. It's in the air box that they have. It's just they're making that.
It sounds like
they kind of dip down and they'll poke their chests out real hard when they do it. Mm-hmm. And they just, I guess they're forcing air up to the front of their chest, and it makes that, it sounds like a drum.
Is it a show of aggression or dominance, or what is it?
I mean, it's a breeding technique, or
I'm supposed to get them hens fired up, let them know he's ready.
Yeah. I mean, he just putting on a show.
It works on men too. Gets us fired up.
Yeah. Whole other reason to blow his head.
They'll shimmy their feathers when they got them cupped out like that. And you can hear that shh when they do that. If you can hear that.
Oh, we could hear that.
He's on top of you.
On top of you.
We had no problem hearing that. Yeah. But it's just crazy because it's not loud. But yet you can hear it so prominent, so defined in the woods that it sounds like, my wife Emily was like, that was another thing. I'll get to that in a second. But my wife Emily was like, what does it sound like when they're drumming? So like I found a video on YouTube and like turned it wide open on the TV so you could actually hear it good. And she's like, it sounds like they're morphing into something. Like it's like, woo. It's like, it don't sound like, yeah. But funny thing was that same bird, once he got past Jody, we backed out, got on the gravel road here at camp, hightailed it, got back in front of him, and we ended up at camp. We were 40 yards from the back door of the house. And we had sit down, and he was, hammering off in the bottom.
He was coming back to the house?
Yeah, he was right down the hill from the shop. And we were set up right there behind the shop. And anyways, my wife had took our big dog out down here that morning, and she said it was, could hear it plain as day. And she's like, I heard it out there. And he's like, I was wondering if y'all was on it. And then you said when we got back, he's like, yeah, if I'd have heard it, I'd probably went on down there with you.
Very glad I didn't hear it because I'd have been down that hill. But I don't know where they at, but I know something's down there.
We chased that bird from one end of this property to the other that day. And it was good. I can't complain whatsoever. It's definitely feel like I have a better grasp of it. Still not saying by no means I'm not even an amateur at this point, but it's I think that's the only reason that hen come see me this morning is just to check on me. My calling sounded so bad she had to make sure I was all right.
We walked up on a hen the other day. That was a little one too, man.
I ain't never seen a hen that small.
Yeah.
It was not much bigger than a chicken.
To be by herself, I didn't see anything else with her. I don't know. That was a strange occurrence. That was another one of them days we were riding around, try to see if we could roost something, and she was just right there off the trail.
One of the best things for people to experience and see if you've never experienced it is if you're having a slow day and you can like talk to the hens and like talk back and forth to them, just try to mock what they're doing and, and listen to how an actual wild hen sounds in the woods.
Most of them don't sound good.
Yeah.
It's just like ducks. I never knew nothing about duck calling until I heard a wild hen duck start calling and drawing birds down in there with her, and she just sounded god awful. And it's not perfect. We try so hard to be perfect and get that cadence right and all that, and they screw it up all the freaking time, man.
Well, I watched it was a little YouTube video I watched the other day with Michael Waddell, and that's what he was saying. He's like, we got to quit being perfect. He's like, that hen's walking through the woods, pecking and scratching, and she's like,
hung in a tote.
Yeah, she may be in the middle of yelping and stop. She may be on her second or third yelp, stop and pick up one of them crickets.
Yeah.
And then pick back up and finish where she left off. She's like, it ain't perfect. And I think another thing that I've learned is it's real easy to call way too loud because you're used to practicing in your truck going down the road, and boy, you're just hammering that mouth call or whatever. You get out here in the woods, that's what first thing Jody yelped. I was like, you think you can hear that? And he's like, yeah. And it was sure enough, he hit. And
was he just quiet talking?
Just quiet as can be, you know. But I think it's easy for a beginner turkey hunter to get out there and just start, yelping loud, thinking you got to be heard. Ain't no way that bird, and it don't sound natural. But I was quiet this morning. I was baby yelping.
Would they respond to you?
That hen did. They had that one gobbler, respond a couple of times, and that was another thing that I seen that says, how was it worded? It said, call to make that gobbler work his feet, not his beak. And I was like, that makes pretty darn good sense. Who cares if he responds as long as he's coming to you? You know, he may not say a word.
Yeah, but if you don't know he's coming.
I mean, you don't know he's there, right? But
That's what gets me and Mikey. We'll give up on him. There ain't nothing coming. As soon as you stand up, there he is. Did it to us today.
Yeah.
We did have one this morning. He never said, the only bird we saw today, he didn't say anything. We were up out there on the north side, and we stopped. You called a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, man, they ain't doing nothing. It's too windy. We ain't had a bird talk to us. We've been out here since 6 a.m. and didn't hear a thing. And then sure enough, man, we didn't go 10 feet. That joker come right out in the trail and looked at us. It's like, dadgummit. What do you do? And he eased up the trail. He didn't break out too fast. I mean, he didn't stick around.
you put that old rabbit hunting shot on him.
I don't ride around. That's what I thought Mike. I said, man, maybe we need to ride with the
Don't mount the shot.
move around with a gun. Yeah, we can't just
Try to keep it though.
Yeah, it ain't loaded, so you can't do that. I don't know. I'm lost at that.
I mean, if they don't respond, if they're not responding, those days they're like that. I just pretty much, I'm gone for a little while. I'm gonna go get something to eat, ride to town, come back, sit back down, try to call again. You know, because I'm just not that guy. I don't like sitting there all day long.
Mm.
Just calling.
Blind calling them. Yeah.
No, that's how my dad was. He could sit there hours and hours and hours upon end and not hear nothing, but he just called. And if I'd done it by myself, turkey hunt, I think I'd be almost too aggressive. I couldn't sit there. Same thing fishing. If something ain't biting, I'm moving. I can't just keep
staying the same.
I can't do the same thing over and over and over. I can't do it. But like I said, I'm not no turkey hunter either. But
I ain't either. But like I said, I ain't mad at him yet. I ain't got the bug. But I am going to build me a turkey gun before next year.
So you ain't got the bug. You ordered you a bunch of clothes and
I
got your 2 thermocells.
I will have me a turkey gun before next year.
That'll be building you turkey calls up.
So if you're going to build a turkey gun, what are you going to start with?
So I already have a Benelli M2 12 gauge, and I've had it forever. That's probably what I'm going to start with. Now, if I would start from scratch, and that still ain't out of the option, I'm probably going to order another Benelli M2, but bad as I hate to say it, I'm probably going to go 20 gauge. But we'll see. I talked to Rob Roberts yesterday, or I sent an email to him and got some details on sending my gun over there, and I found a.
What are you going to spend on fixing up a turkey gun?
Depends on what you want to do. I mean, it adds up. You know,
I know guys that's got $3,000 in there. It's easy.
If you buy the Benelli M2 custom shop, which is done by Rob Roberts, it's $2,900. But I already got the M2, so I'm thinking between doing the force and cone, doing the trigger work, getting it Cerakoted, getting the stocks redipped, getting the barrel ported, custom choke. I mean, I'm probably gonna have $1,000 to $1,200 in it, probably pretty easy.
I still have to go. As bad as my eyes are, I'd have to go with either a red dot or some type of scope.
You ain't gonna be able to see it. I looked through Jody's the other day. I can't see through it. I'm not doing a red dot right now because it's like looking through a peep sight on a bow. Like you only focus on what's in there, and I can't see what's in there. I got to be able to see like full frame of view for me because my eyes are terrible. But I don't know. Can you use magnification on turkey? No or yes?
Probably. I don't know.
Somebody couldn't. I don't know.
I don't know either.
So.
I don't
know.
I've never thought about it, but now if I could put me old red dot with like a 4 power, oh yeah,
you're on it.
I'd be on that. But my eyes suck. I can't see.
I mean, I looked through the kid that we had down here hunting. He had a 410 with the red dot, and the only thing that messed me up the red dot is it's not like a crosshair. Wherever you move your head,
it floats.
Dot don't stay in the center of your screen or your scope itself, but
it moves with your angle, your angle of your eye.
But and then. Man, I don't think I'd do it for me personally, but if I was carrying somebody, I would do the camera deal too on there just because you know what they're looking at.
Like solo cam or?
No, like, so how Brad set up that gun for they carried that out that was blind. So, I mean, naturally they had to, see what he was, see what the gun was pointing at. So, you got the basically size of an iPhone up on top of the scope and you can see crosshairs, you can actually record, you can do all kinds of stuff.
You would hunt with that?
It depends on what I was doing with the gun.
Yeah.
If I was
just turkey gun.
If I was keep doing the Hope Outdoor stuff and stuff like that, yeah, definitely. That's what I'd build a gun where it would work for me and for that.
Yeah.
I got to do some more research though, because I talked to them and they said, see, my gun's got a 28-inch barrel, which is extremely too long for turkey hunting. So I'm either going to replace it. I asked them if they could cut it and rethread it. They said no. So I'm either going to replace it. I found a 24-inch barrel, or they make a 21. So I may be doing a 21. I don't know. I'm going to ask them how much that affects patterning and all that stuff like that. Because, I mean, I want it to be right.
Short, you want it short?
I want it
as
as short,
lightweight
compact
as you can get it?
Yes. And, I mean, I know we talked about it, and I kind of made that comment, like, why would you shoot some of these smaller gauges? I would shoot a 20 gauge, but I'm not fixing to go to a 410. You know, like I would shoot a 20 gauge just because, like Jamie said, being a little bit lighter. And, I mean, it's still a deadly freaking gun. But I've already got the 12 gauge. The gun's in great shape. I mean, it needs to be recoated for sure, but we're gonna have it for.
Was that your old duck gun?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had that gun since I was probably in high school. I guess I've had it for a while, but it's a good shooting gun. It just needs to be cleaned up. It's been rabbit hunting. I think I've hunted with it. My dad's buddy Willie, he's probably rabbit hunted with it more than I have. Yeah, ain't no time how many he done got that barrel hot.
It's rapid fire at a time or two.
But no, I'm gonna have one for sure.
I don't know about the magnifying scope. Some of them saying, I think it may be state regulated.
I was
looking at a couple of different things here, and some of them say their magnified scopes are not legal, and then some of them say they are.
Because that's something else you need to look into where you hunt at too. Because like Rob, he's out of town hunting, and most of the places up north he's going, you can't hunt after 12, so you got to get it done before lunch, or your day's shot.
See, I don't know how Jody, he told us how his tag worked because he's in Missouri right now.
Yeah.
And it's what you got a tag for out of state tag for the first 10 days of season only. And it's at a certain property. Like it's not the state, it's this national forest here.
Yeah. If you're like I guess, I don't know if they got WMA or what it'd be, but yeah, yours only, your tag or your permit or whatever, only for that property. It ain't like you can jump around from property to property just because you're in that state. I think Rob's in. I know he was in Delaware, but I don't know if
he was doing like 12 states in like 3 weeks. Wasn't it?
Pretty much a month. He'll be out of town pretty much a month. He's going for the 49 state kill over the next couple of years. So he should. That's a lot to take in.
That's a lot of birds. Can you imagine that killing 49 turkeys, one in every state?
49 turkey. Oh,
that's what it is, isn't it? What's the only state that don't have them?
Alaska.
Alaska actually does, I think.
I said it on the thing the other day. Alaska, they might have turkeys, but they don't have a turkey season.
Oh,
might have been.
I would think Hawaii, but I guess they got some of them crazy birds over there or something.
I couldn't imagine. I don't know.
That's a lot of hunting.
My mind, I can't wrap around the fact of scheduling it out. Like, you're hunting this state for a day or two, moving over this state and hunting for 2 or 3 days, and moving to this one, and then maybe coming back to this. That's what I couldn't.
It seems like there'd be a lot of luck involved in that.
Oh, it is.
I mean, because just hunting around here, if the weather's off, the birds ain't going to talk. If it's cloudy, the birds might not talk. I mean, if it's windy, yeah. I mean, there's so many variables that go into it. It'd be so hard to say, okay, I'm going to go here and I got 2 days to kill a bird. Then I got to go to this state. You don't know what the conditions are going to be. I guess you're just going to try your best.
Yeah.
But you're hunting the hardest to kill turkeys in the entire 48 states right here in Mississippi.
I believe that. They definitely don't live up to their name. They're not turkeys. Them joggers are geniuses.
You kill one in Mississippi or Louisiana or Alabama in that area, north, southern Tennessee, you can probably kill one anywhere in the country.
I want to go hunt some of the dumb ones. Where do we need to go for that? Where's the dumb birds live? Texas? I saw something about them Rios. He said, you can just go hunt a water hole in the afternoon when they're going to roost, and they go roost on fence posts and telephone poles. It's easy to kill them. Yeah. Just go sit. You'll have 20 birds on a water hole, then go in to get on fence posts and telephone poles. That's what I said.
Show up to the turkey blind at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and shoot him at 4:30.
That's it. That's too easy, ain't it? You have to get up. You don't have to get out there. But I was up this morning. My alarm went off at 4:15. I don't know about y'all.
4:30.
It was early. We pulled up. Me and you, had you been here long before I pulled up?
Been here about 5 minutes, maybe.
No, I pulled up first.
You pulled up before I have.
And then you pulled up, yeah. Jamie, you slept in.
Well, I didn't sleep in, but I didn't get up at 4 o'clock. I put it that way.
This morning they wasn't hitting on nothing.
No, it was pretty quiet. I mean, considering Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I bet I heard 500, 600 gobbles. And then this morning to hear 4 or 5.
Well, I almost took out one yesterday. I almost had a bird. I would have had my third with the Toyota.
Oh.
So we rounded the corner over there and made a left on Crockett. And I come up top of that hill, and, man, one stepped out with a beard dragging the daggum asphalt. Stopped right in the middle of the road. And Shell goes, "Don't hit that turkey." And then, well, I punched it, you know. I had a little insurance claim or something. I had to have me a bird. And that jugger shot straight up. I mean, I ain't never seen one go straight up. And I was like, "Did you see the size of that beard on that bird?" I was all excited. And I finally came to a stop. And I looked over my left shoulder, and there's another one blowed up, just 35 yards right out in the pasture right there. I was like, that's why that bird, he was been out there tussling with that guy.
Did you really try to run over?
I mean, I was trying to get stopped.
They done hit one in one vehicle before.
That's like my wife's killed one before.
Oh,
she was on I-20 coming out of Atlanta. We just got into Alabama. She smoked one. I mean, it was one of them where she was driving. We were in a Kia, like a little Kia Sorrento, just a piece of junk of a car. It's the only thing we could afford at the time. And a car had come out around us, and these turkeys were out in the median, right on the interstate on I-20. And they flew, and they missed that first car. And that last one, we were coming up, you know, the car done passed us. The turkeys flew and shot by it. And Shell just, bam, blowed one up. And all it was feathers. I mean, it sounded like I hit a bowling ball.
Oh, that's what it looked like y'all hit.
Oh, dude, it dented in that whole front fender of that car, that little Kia. People were pointing at us, and I said, "Chill, you got to pull over. You got to pull over."
The turkey still hung up on the front.
Oh, man, there was blood and guts and feathers. I dug all that stuff out. I mean, it was a disaster.
When you traded it in, it still had feathers.
Still had that turkey dent and feathers in it when I traded that thing in. Yeah.
Everybody used to ask Malcolm, "What happened to the car?" Well, Shell hit a turkey.
Nobody would believe it. A turkey did that much damage to a car.
You told me, I was like,
it was a round circle.
Yeah, it looked like somebody threw a bowling ball at
like
it
you
going
hit a frozen
70.
turkey.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a 20-pound bird. It's
dude, and it was
hit it running about 60, 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, we was going every bit 70, 75 mile an hour. The bird was flying too, and it was just bam. I mean, there was a whole flock of them. I don't know what they were doing in the median. They were in the wrong spot. It's probably some red clover out there. They're out there strutting in some red clover. Speaking of clover, man, ours is looking jam up now, man. Yeah. Clover is thriving right now.
Big time back here now.
Yeah, everywhere. It's lush. I mean, we got some spots where it's like carpet.
Well, there were some places that I didn't get to plant, you know, back during the fall that I was wanting to plant and didn't get to plant it that we had planted previous year. You know, and that drought last year just took it out. I mean, it just destroyed it. And now you ride through there, and there it is. It's back up. It's lush. You know, it survived. It just didn't make during the fall.
Yeah.
And now during the spring, here it comes. You know, and so I'm excited about that. I don't have to plant it again.
There's more around Mark plot. The plot behind it on the hill, like around the edge. It's thick.
It's thick.
It's not where like that is. Like you can see it in the road where we planted, but it's done moved down the hill to where we didn't plant it. But it's there. It looks good.
It does spread. I mean, I don't know, just cutting it and blowing the seeds around or stuff like that. I mean, because there is stuff in places that we didn't plant. And I know some of it's just wild clover that just naturally came up. But
so talking about clover, my father-in-law is wanting to plant some back behind his pond and stuff at his house. It's kind of shaded. Be a good spot for it. But I got to helping him look for stuff. And, of course, you see the imperial clover, and then you see all these different white clovers on the internet. What's the difference in a $15 or $20 bag of clover and a $200 bag of clover? What are you gaining?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Some of it's they've got it to where it'll germinate better. It's supposed to last years longer if you take care of it, but
the different breeds of clover costs, you know, because you got Duranas and you got.
But are they all considered white?
Yes.
Okay, because that was the one thing. It just says white clover, and then like one of them had white clover mix, but like what is it? Not the perennial. What's the expensive one? Imperial clover. Yeah. So it did have like the germination coating or whatever. They were all coated. And I could see that, but like. You start looking, there'll be 20 pages of white clover.
A lot of it you're paying for the brand name.
Yeah. I was like, well, I think he's going to order the $15 bag and see what it does.
You can take care of it. You might just overseed it a little bit or come back and frost seed it back because you're not going to see it at all right now. Like you plant white clover, you got to plant a nurse crop with it. You won't see it till the next spring.
Yeah.
So a lot of times that's when we plant the red with it. We'll plant what's the bursum, that taller clover, and then the white's the one that's going to keep coming back. But they say red is supposed to be annual, but it's perennial too. Yeah, we got a lot of red that comes back. Yeah,
I mean, and that's just one of those things that they tell you that it's a annual clover, but I mean, if you cut it, I mean, all those little flowers on top, that's your seed head.
Yeah. So that's the only thing about red. But heck, you go down the highway, and I know they ain't replanting that junk every
No,
they just cutting it, and it's laying there, and it's
coming back up.
Reseeds itself. Clover's pretty aggressive. When you let it go, it's going to fill in spots. It's going to run. That white clover, it makes a network under the ground first. That's what it's doing that whole first year growing. It's growing underground. Then it pops up come spring, but the drought knocks it back bad. That's why you got full sun areas and you get the droughts like we've had here these past few years, it burns it all up. But it doesn't kill it out because, we got proof now. It's all it's thriving.
It just sucks when if you're trying to deer hunt over and you're depending on that kind of for
the fall. You can't,
and a drought takes it out. It's so patchy if it comes back.
That's right. If it comes back.
Then you're just kind of screwed on that.
That's why you need more than one option out there.
That's
much
exactly
as I love
right.
clover, you definitely need more than one option just because of drought or too much rain, either one.
There's if you got the place and you got the right shade and you got decent rainfall, you can have some really lush clover crops and maintain them for years. You have to do it's minimally spraying and mowing basically is all it takes to take care of it once you get it established. But
it's not much. I mean, a lot of it just you can just maintain it just by mowing it.
Yeah,
because after you mow it so much, it gets thicker and thicker and thicker, and it'll choke out a lot of your grass and your
weeds and stuff you don't want.
Raw stuff that you don't want in there.
And then it don't matter. I mean, I guess a lot of people get hung up. Like they think, I got to have a solid stand of clover. You don't have to have a solid stand. Man, that natural stuff with some weeds and other stuff coming up in it, the deer and animals are going to browse. That's what you want. You don't want it just all perfectly like a lawn of clover. That's not, it looks pretty. It's lush, but
it's not feasible.
It ain't feasible. Yeah. You spend way more money trying to always spray it out and
because you
just
can
let it go.
Bad spots of our property, where we've got really good soil and bad soil, just like the new ones that we just planted. You go down those roads and it's like it'll be real patchy and real thin, and then all of a sudden it's wham, it's a thick bunch of it, and then there may be none, and then there's some, and then there's none, and it's all planted down that one road in the same ratio, and it's all got the same fertilizer, same spray, same everything, but it's just the ground right in
difference in the ground.
Something pulling the nutrients out of the ground there. The ground's just that bad right there. It's cooked. So, but you don't have to get hung up on that being just a blanket, like a carpet out there.
So we got 2 more weekends of turkey hunting, and we're gonna be done. Then what are we going into? It'll be what?
I think I'm retiring after Friday.
You're retiring. You're not gonna go the last day. We gotta go.
About to run me out of the wood.
Yeah, they do suck. My neck's over here itching right now.
I feel like I'd
been sitting there scratching them on camera, but
shot with number 9s.
I ain't through yet. I
got to get one this year.
I've been trying to keep them swallow my mouth call, make some noise. I've got to call a turkey, at least get them to respond to me this year before season.
Well, you said respond.
I just want one to respond back.
Well, that could be them running off. That's a response.
I guess that is a response, ain't it?
Yeah, they put
that's the one thing you don't want to do to them, right? To put the put on.
Yeah, they put that old put on you. It's over.
I forgot what I think it was. Either my dad or my Uncle Jimmy won. It was a guy they worked with that wanted a turkey hunt. And that's what they told him. Man,
learn that putt.
Yeah, that's the first call you learn. They was messing with it.
Man, they did him wrong, man. They put him on that
one. He probably still chasing turkeys.
Yeah.
Jimmy Scott told me a long time ago, he said, "You want a guaranteed turkey, Mike? I'm going to tell you how to get it." I was like, "Yes, sir." And man, he had me hook, line, and sinker, son. And I was listening to him tell this crap. He said, what you need to do is just go into the woods. I want you to go to the, not the hardware store, but the bait shop and get you a roll of that black trot line string. I said, all right. He said, go down through there and tie you some loops in it And he said, put you some, he had whatever it was, #1 brim hooks. He said, fill it up with corn. He said, but put about 15 hooks down through there. He said, be at least 2 turkeys on that trot line in the morning. You just walk over and shoot them.
Not saying he didn't do that.
Trot line and turkeys. Come on now.
Oh man, he had me because he told the story. He started out way before that, and
Surefire way.
Oh yeah, surefire way. And he just kept agging it on. So he got me. So I was like, oh my God.
Turkey trot line.
He said, yeah, they just swallow that hook and they can't get off.
Can't get off.
But that'd be
like,
highly
cut her loose, but if it's a gobbler, go and shoot him.
Just cut her loose.
That'd be pretty
You
much.
take the hook out, or you just let it digest like you do.
Just cut it loose, just cut the string, let it go.
Just let it go. She'll be all right.
Just swallow it.
I wouldn't advise doing that. I wouldn't advise running a
Good idea.
trap line for turkey.
Trying to survive.
If you're trying to survive, yeah, I guess so.
I don't think the game would like
I
it.
think it's a law on it, though. I think you only get 10 hooks for every 100 foot.
Is that what it is? So many
Stipulation on it.
per limb.
Y'all ever heard that joke about the guy who roosted the turkey and was sitting up under the turkey that morning, and he shot him out of the tree, and it was flopping around out there, and the game warden had got wind of him doing it, and the guy runs out there and he reaches and grabs that turkey by the neck, and he goes to swinging, and the game warden said, "Whatever you do to that turkey, that's exactly what I'm gonna do to you." And he said, "I was just about to kiss his ass and let him go."
Is it against the law to shoot one off the limb? Is there a law, or is it just unsporting? Like, I don't know.
I mean, you shoot a squirrel off a limb.
Definitely on sportsmanship, I would say.
It's definitely on sports. Was like,
I really don't know about the law. I don't know
about the law.
If there's a legality of it.
Yeah. I think the time of the day matters.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, if it's
Oh, yeah. So if he's still on the limb, it's probably not legal shooting time. And then if he doesn't went to the limb, it's probably not either. That's a good point there.
I ain't gonna lie. If I've been calling a bird and he flies up in the tree and
so
busting him out.
Heck, the other day we've been there for 45 minutes. We heard it one fly down. We didn't see it. Saw. I don't know if it's a hen or gobbler or what it was.
But he sure did fly down late. I was like, I just smooth thought the bird done saw us and flew off. When I heard that, I was like, Joe, where'd that bird go?
I heard it fly down, but I didn't know what.
But that was a fly down. I don't know if it was a hen he'd been eyeballing or what. But
Well, if we might end up being the halfway decent turkey hunters about another 5 or 6 years.
it's going to take some years. I'm just getting started. Heck. It's fun to me now. I ain't going to lie. I've had a blast turkey hunting this year. I never would have thought that I liked it as much as I do. But when you get out there and them jerkers get to talking, and it makes your hair stand.
That's what Jody said. He's like, because I told him, I said, that bird's going to gobble when we go. I said, because he's had some tough hunts this year. And when that bird, about the 90th time he gobbled, he said, don't get used to this.
Because they don't do
He's
that.
like, this is a different world. And it was. I mean, that's as good a morning as you can have without pulling a trigger.
Well, they got all their gobbles out over the weekends. They sure weren't.
It was quiet this morning.
We didn't hear one even down the road. We didn't hear none.
Next week, we may have to just work from camp a couple of days.
Probably so.
I mean, we probably got some stuff we need to do down here anyway.
Yeah, we didn't have too much luck. How many fish did we catch? Jamie, you won the tournament, didn't you?
Man, I racked up on the brim. I got 2.
I caught one, but I cheated. I had to resort to the
I only caught
more
one.
modern method, using a rod and reel instead of the cane pole.
Cane pole, I was 2 brim and 1 bass, I think.
On the cane pole?
My 16-foot Amazon cane pole broke on the first 2-ounce fish.
First fish I hooked with mine,
just
it broke too. I had one of the most $4 snap-to jobs that you get at Walmart. Don't waste your $4 on that.
Hey, we had a heck of a fish fry, though.
We did.
Some darn good fish.
Glad we bought catfish, and I'm glad you had them boys catch some brim last time they were down here.
Man, to death.
Them brim look good.
They were good. A whole fried brim is pretty dang good eating.
You got to pick around a few bones.
Yeah.
Man, it's good.
Yeah. If you can deal with the bones.
That's my thing. I can't deal with
Well, them were for real panfish.
Yeah.
Palm brim. They wasn't
fish.
really big keeper brim, but we were keeping them anyway. But it was a good weekend. I can't complain. If you had that weekend once a month, you got a good month.
That was just a perfect spring weekend. I mean, it was cool in the morning,
Weather was
warmed up
perfect.
nice, the sun shining.
Got to sit on the bank, listen to music.
Drank a few cool ones.
I might have spilled some
fish.
crickets around that pond down there.
Watched Ole Miss beat Mississippi State 2 days in a row. That was a great weekend.
About all that.
You don't know about all that. I had to throw that out there on you, Mikey.
It wasn't pretty.
It wasn't pretty. But no, I'm ready to do that again. So we got a couple more, and we'll be having to move on to something else. We're going to we got a hog hunt coming up that we're looking forward to. It is in Texas.
Down in Texas.
Where are we at? South of
Fort Worth.
Okay.
It's there. I lost the name of the ranch, but we're going down there with the guys from Monarch Blinds and Monarch Feeders. They kind of teamed up. They're wanting to do basically kind of what our whole goal is kind of combining the whole barbecue, cooking,
camp
outdoor
experience,
hunting, and we're very excited to be a part of it. And I think it's some pretty big names going to be down there too. So it's going to be a good time.
But what's our plan on that? They're taking us thermal hog hunting,
hog hunting, and then we just get to cook barbecue in a day, and that's
is the turkey season over then in Texas?
I think turkey season's over in May.
Man, you gonna try to talk them into one?
I was gonna try to talk them into let me shoot one if they got one.
We can do some.
We're gonna set that up for next year. Yeah, do y'all sell turkey hunts or something? Would y'all go on like one of them paid turkey hunts?
I don't know about Texas. Depends on Texas got a lot of thorns, a lot of rattlesnakes, man.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was my question. And I know we're getting close on time, but I thought about that this morning. You go on a paid turkey hunt. Most turkey hunters get just as much excited out of calling one up as they do shooting one. So when you go on these paid guided turkey hunts, do you get to do the calling? Or is it your guy?
I think they have some of both. They have fully guided and they have semi, and then they have self. Yeah.
So that'd be my thing. Is like everybody I know that's ate up with turkey hunting, they like to chase more than anything and be in control of working that bird. Yeah. And if you take a guide with you, that's completely eliminating that, So I don't know. It was just something I thought about.
I don't know, like in Rob's case or something like that, where you're strange to the region or the state or something like that, and you're trying to accomplish a goal, a goal like that. It might be better off to let the guy that
every little bit of help you get.
That'd be like somebody coming here calling. I mean, you may go out there and call completely different, and you get over here, like it's like Jody was saying, you might call hard, a couple of times, but you're not going to continually do that. It's mostly just soft calling and call and stop, wait, call, stop, wait. And somewhere else, the bird may respond better to something different. So, yeah, I mean, if he was doing better, if I win, I would just kind of ask the guide, what do you recommend? How do you recommend us call? Do we need to do something different or, this is what we do at home, but y'all's birds are way different than ours. So.
I don't know. We need to go find out, Mikey. We need to find us a place to go turkey hunting out of state.
I'm wearing a Kevlar suit if we go to Texas.
What? You scared of the rattlesnake?
Get on the ass or on the under the arm or something.
You hear that turkey out there blowed up, gobbling at you, you ain't gonna care about no rattlesnakes.
Bet I will.
I look every time I sit down this morning.
Did you really?
Heck yeah.
I don't think about it till I'm sitting there and then I hear something. I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah.
And I looked over today and I saw an old spider web. I was like, man, that looks like a black-wedded nest right there. It's like, dadgummit, here I am, got my hand right by it. I didn't move though. I just sit there.
I will say that ground blind we set up is ate up with wasp already. It's 3 or 4 wasp nests.
Hey, that's something that we need to. I guess we're going to take them ground blinds up here in a week or so. But the other stands, have y'all already sprayed them this year? They need to be treated for wasps.
Sounds like it's warmed up. We will.
Yeah, get the bifing out. Give them a good dose.
It sounds like work. We got to finish turkey hunting first.
Yeah, that's kind of the next thing. We can move on from that. We'll figure out what we got to do next.
We got to get Mikey on the bridge building before it gets August and 110. We got to do that.
We got to bridge that creek.
Man, you crossed it like a champ.
Yeah, but
you were scared to death, but you crossed it.
I was. I ain't gonna
lie. But I guess that about wraps it up.
Yeah. That's we got anything else coming up, Mike? We got giveaways or anything?
Well, by the time this podcast drops, the contest will be over. We got a few more entries in that. So we'll be announcing a winner on that next time. Next
Tuesday, we're going to be in Corinth, Mississippi for their wild game cook-off.
Yep.
And it's I wish I knew where to tell y'all to go find out more information about it because it's my buddy Joey putting it on. And,
y'all be able to Google it. I think it's the Corinth Convention Center or something.
Probably go there, but we're going to be there and we're going to have a little booth set up, talking stuff, and we're going to judge some wild game. hopefully get some ideas on some recipes we can come back and do for y'all. With whatever wins that contest, we'll try to duplicate it.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if you had.
There's got to be.
It just says Alcorn County Wildlife Tasting Supper Tuesday, April.
That's it. Are they selling tickets to it to where you can come in and taste stuff?
I'm trying to see.
That's what it was. I've done it one time where we went over and we judged it. And then at the end of it, we got to walk down on the floor. But it's like people turned in food. You don't actually cook the food there. People were cooking it at home and bringing it up there and turning it in. And then it was like a potluck after that.
I got you.
They would take all the food downstairs, and I guess they made enough for everybody to get samples or whatever. And then you just kind of went around trying different stuff.
So how do they judge? How would we be?
We were judging
we could
like
walk by and do the same.
No, we were set at a table, and there'll be blind boxes just like we normally do, and they'll be turning in entries like, you know, it might be deer, it might be raccoon, it might be, you know, all kinds of stuff. There's several categories. I think they had a stew, a chili, and then they had a deer meat, and they had something else, and then they had a dessert.
So that's
The biggest one's the dessert. That's why you want to go.
So it's
like just full blown. There'll be 100 desserts turned in.
So it's at the Crossroads Arena.
That's right, in Corinth, Mississippi.
Yeah, dish registration 5 to 6. Tasting starts at 6. Let's see, one homemade dish or dessert per person, or $15 per person. I guess entry fee.
To get in.
Yeah. It'll be, so your dish category is going to be water critter, feathered, antlered, land critter, hunt club, chili stew, dessert.
That's what we're judging.
And,
Oh my goodness!
I'm taking me some Imodium and a couple of probiotics, and we're probably going to ride home with the windows
I
down.
was going to say we're probably coming back home with them windows down.
so if
It wasn't that bad last time we went. We had some good stuff. I mean,
Most of us don't eat that all the time. I mean, me
Yeah.
and you are kind of on diets. And
yeah.
Mark is a little bit, and
I'm free
I
for
don't
all
eat
of
that
it.
kind of- yeah, I just eat
Oh,
flat.
it's all going to be good, but when it's loaded down with butter and Italian
Yeah.
dressing, it ain't good for your good.
You finna get the cream cheese, the bacon.
Yeah.
You finna get all that.
You finna create a mixture for a bomb.
Last time they had some coon meatballs that I ate, and they weren't that bad.
I'll try about any
It
kind
was like barbecue coon meatball.
I'll definitely eat them.
I try it. So so it says if you're interested in it, reach out. It's 662-287-7223. You'll go to extension 3. And they can get you information on, I guess, if you want to enter it, or
Yeah.
the rules, regulations, and all that stuff they'll have. But you can go to it just says go to Alcorn County Extension Office on Facebook, and it's got it listed on there.
There you go. Well, that's what we're going to be up to next week, but we're going to get after some turkeys too, I think, between now and the next podcast. So hopefully one of us can get one.
Had to run it by the boss, let her know we're going to be off next week. National holiday.
It is. It's kind of
Turkey spring break.
turkey break. Yeah.
We didn't get a spring break.
We didn't get a spring break. Yeah. That's going to be it.
Yeah.
Buck Junkies do need a spring break.
We do.
I look,
Take us on out of here today, Mark.
well, man, we sure appreciate y'all listening. If y'all got any questions, shoot us a message on all the platforms. And like I say, we always look for new content. And y'all good luck on these last few weeks of turkey season. And hopefully we have a little bit of luck too. And we'll see y'all next time.
Let us see them pictures. We gone.